No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama!
This is a total,
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense!
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the time.
No problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. What a weekend of game, Will. There was really only one game that needs talking about. First versus, was it fourth at the time or third? I'm not really sure.
It's the mush up at the top. They're against each other now.
Do you know why? Because it's just too early to tell. I'm still not sure where it's going to fit.
The reverse fixture of this game is when we really know what both of these teams are like.
Yeah, I know we made a joke about that at the start, our kind of non-committal approach to talking about football this year. But it does kind of feel like, wait a minute, are Chelsea good? What's going on here? Are they good? Are Liverpool bad or are they good? Because they win some games and they lose some games. It's very hard to tell. And I think before this game, everyone thought, oh, God, the worst rivalry in history is about to re-emerge. Arsenal versus City, 0-0. Especially with no Odegaard, it's going to be really boring, really defensive. Part of that was true. It was really defensive, but it wasn't really boring. It was actually really, what's the word? I guess absorbing. Entertaining is probably too far to call it. It was absorbing.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an entertaining game or a great game.
No.
I would call it insane, though. It was a mad watch.
Must-see TV.
Yeah, 100%. You just don't see football like this anymore, especially like a team like Man City. It felt like getting dragged down to the level of a different team. But then the other team was Arsenal. So it's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it was strange to see Arsenal transform into 2009 Stoke. Like,
yeah, everyone's at it these days. It's like they're lumping it up to Haaland. Nobody's ticky-tacking in anything anymore.
I mean, Wenger must have been rolling in his grave, you know.
Yeah.
I know he's not dead, but, you know, he's very old. He must have been rolling somewhere.
Preemptively rolling.
He's like, he must be looking and going, this is not right. I mean, maybe Arsenal need Arsene Wenger now. Because when you think back to when he came first, they had a really solid defense. You know, Tony Adams and Steve Bold and all that. And he didn't really work in defending. That was taken care of. And then he was like, what if I played Henry as a striker rather than a winger? You know, what if Bergkamp came a bit deeper? He was like more attacking at a solid base, and then he'd create this, you know, ultra attacking team. And Arsenal seemed to, you know, got the defense sword again for sure. That is rock solid with 10 men behind the ball. That's a good base if ever there was one.
Yeah. We'll start there. We'll sort out the rest later. It's like overnight this thing happened. It was like when that Newcastle game, the famous one, where Arsenal, the ball was in play for 5 minutes and they got kicked off the pitch and there were 2 disallowed goals that counted. It was like overnight after that, all of a sudden Arsenal were like, we're the bad guys now. That's never happening to us again. We're kicking people and we're wasting time, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like if the Joker's villain arc started and in the middle of it, but actually, Joker, we're resting Batman. We're changing. No, it's already started. We're going to be defensive. We're going to kick the ball away. If you kick the ball away, we're going to book you. No, we're going to do what they're doing. No, you're not doing it anymore. No one is. Doesn't matter. We've already started the arc. You can't go back on the arc. You have to finish it out. Okay.
Yeah, it's just surreal to see this like bad boy team, like again, all the time wasted, kicking the ball away, all this. And then they just get punished for it every single time. And it's like, it's the downfall of their game.
I know. It's the worst time to be bad boys in history.
Yeah, what are you thinking? What are you time wasting for? They're going to add it all on.
Any other time in the last 10 years, that would have been the time for Arsenal to go, you know what, forget this. And then go, we're going to be the bad guys. But of all the times when they changed the rules for it, like it makes the least sense now to be this team because they're getting punished every game for it.
Yeah, there's red cards, they're conceding late. It's so funny as well because, especially online, the Arsenal fans, especially on Twitter, like there's that subsection of online fans, they're very vocal. But there's so much now, like, oh, this game is so rigged. These referees hate us. It's like, no, you're cheating.
It's just like it's a refusal to believe that the rules will be enforced. You know, It's like it will. And like 2 players in the last 3 games have been sent off for kicking the ball away. You know, and they're just like, yeah, it was not really a yellow card. It is a yellow card now. Just accept it and move on.
Yeah.
Stop kicking the ball away.
I saw that Raya spent 9 minutes taking his goal kicks. Like, that's how long all of them together. Do you know how much extra time there was at the end? I'm pretty sure it was like exactly 9 minutes.
Which does mean they didn't play enough because obviously all the subs
yeah,
were rested.
exactly. Yeah.
So maybe it worked to some extent. But yeah, I mean, like to concede in the last minute, it is kind of like, well, you did waste a lot of time, you know. You know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see how this is funny, Arsenal. You can see how this is like.
I would say that might have been probably the funniest game of football since maybe the 7-0 against United, the Liverpool 7-0.
Yeah.
It's up there of just like everything that could possibly have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah. I suppose like it's hard to remember all the things, but I guess the start, you know, Kai Havertz running into Ruben Diaz, was it Rodri?
Rodri, I think. I could
Just
be wrong there now.
hit him early. He's the guy, you know, stop him that knee.
Yeah, and it worked. It did the job.
I haven't seen that. Actually, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Like, okay, he ran into him and it was like Roger went, oh, well, I'm going to go down now and get him sent off. But even just the thought to do that was like, all right, like you're really trying to prove something here by like, you know, body checking someone at all that early in the game.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? I just thought of a time when I saw anything similar to that was when Wenger came out and started pushing Mourinho into his box.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? Because it was the whole like, now I think that was after, maybe it was before, but I feel like it was after he called him a specialist in failure.
Yeah.
And then he was like, started just like pushed him and going, yeah, what are you now, big man? What are you now? What do you, huh? And so I pushed him. I mean, I was like, has everybody seen this? This guy's lost his mind, you know? And I'm fairly sure Mourinho won that battle. That was really, it looked like that was the thing to do in Wenger's head. I got a big dog him here, but really, that was probably the moment he lost. It's like, okay, he's in your head now. You know, you just come out pushing at him. And like to Kai Havertz to run into Rodri and then proceed to not complete a pass in the whole game. It's like, okay, so like
not a single one.
Out of like, was it 6 attempted, none completed, 0%. It's like, you've lost the head. You haven't scored.
Exactly.
You haven't played well. You're barrel into lads. That's not your game. You know?
It's just, it's so insane to see like Arsenal become this team again, where not only Kai Havertz, but Timber as well didn't complete a single pass.
Yes.
And they were both the first players in Premier League history to not complete a pass in 90 minutes. Both in the same game. This is Arsenal, the passing team.
And the worst thing is, of all the Arsenal players, I thought Timber played all right, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was like, Timber's doing pretty well here.
Look, don't worry about the passing. We'll sort that out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the context, the all important context, is the red card that what we mentioned for Trossard. That does make you more defensive. I'm not sure what there wasn't that much a huge change when the red card went off. Like they were playing quite defensively from the start, but definitely when you're down 10 men for entire half against City, I think anybody would have defended like that.
Yeah.
But
now, I do think it was a nice excuse to be like, oh no, we have to put 10 lads in the box. That's terrible. I think they would have happily done that in the first place.
Well, it wasn't like they hadn't practiced this, we'll put it that way.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they didn't look like they were caught out here.
They knew exactly what to do when the 10 went down. It's like, well, I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Lock in. I can't imagine how tired they were at the end of that game.
Yeah. I mean, look, they've tried it, Will. They tried going toe-to-toe City. It hasn't ended well. I mean, if Arsenal would play City 100 times, just like, you know, player on player, full team, Odegaard, Rice, Rodri fit, you know, Foden wasn't even fully fit. I mean, how many times do you think they win? 99 times out of 100. I'm probably giving like 60 to Man City.
At least.
You know, and that's maybe conservative, but, you know, I think just this thing, Liverpool, when they went toe-to-toe, I think they were better off. You know, player on players, maybe close to 50-50. You might even give it to Liverpool, that great Liverpool team. So, like, it probably wasn't still percentage-wise the best thing to do for Liverpool to play that way. maybe you'd say that he didn't have in his locker, Klopp, to play that defensively, and that was his only option. But even still, I think Arteta's looking at player for player, and he's worked a lot of these players as well. He's thinking, they're better than us. You know? Like, am I going to be like Mr. Ego here and show that I can play as well as Pep? Or am I saying, look, lads, let's fucking stoke it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, up until the last kick of the game, they probably would have taken the point, but it's just that it was so crushing at the end that it felt bad.
Yeah.
But at any other stage of the game, they would have gone, yep, call it, happy with that, that'll do.
Yeah, the 97 minute was the one time where they thought, yes, 3 points. And then it was crushing. But before the game, had half time, even when you got a man sent off, it's like, yeah, we'll take a point here. But yeah, I think it is just, it illustrates more how little people care about Man City. The 6, well, they won 5 of the last 6.
I think so, yeah.
Favourites to win, they're still top. They're going to win 6 of the next 7. Everyone's like, everyone laugh at Arsenal, but you know, that's all the comments
exactly.
I see. It's like, that's how little people care about City. Like, if that was United back in the day, or Liverpool in the 80s, people would be like, yeah, fucking give it to them, you know? About time someone got up in them, you know? See how they like it. But everyone's like, Arsenal failed again in a new and boring way, you know? It's like, that's what everyone's talking about, because like, who are you gonna talk to the City fans about it? You know, like, you don't know that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it is interesting from that point of view that Arsenal are the losers of this, even though they've gone away to City and drawn. And as I say, objectively, that's why you park the bus against a better team. It doesn't really matter if you're Arsenal or if you're Wolves or if you're Everton. It's like, well, you can go at them, see if you can take them player for player. Do you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense. Like, what, Haaland still scored in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever game plan you did have is over.
Yeah, and then, you know, your defensive set piece game got you back into a 2-1. But everyone's disregarding that because, like, oh, you've just turned into everything you hate. You know, you've lived long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's exactly what's happened. And everyone's like saying this because it's Arsenal. I think if this was you know, like when United were beating City that time under Ollie, like they were sitting behind the ball and catching the break, and it worked like 90% of the time.
Yeah, I think Ollie has the record wins against Pep still.
But that's because that's what people remember from the 90s United team, where it was like pace and goals, like that's the United way. Whereas Arsenal's way is ineffective passing and trying to walk it in. You've left you've forgotten your roots, Arsenal. It's like the roots were not winning, you know, the roots were not winning the league for 10 years. Why would they go back that? Maybe they should try something different. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's mad because people are looking at this being like, this is bullshit. This is you know, crap football. But like, really, it's like, well, you're not going to win the other way.
Yeah. And you know what? It's because of the way the game's gone, especially with the City dominating. I think even the crap football, or like, you know, 10 men, but it's actually refreshing to see. You don't see it anymore. I was watching that game like, how the hell are they going to hang on for another 40 minutes? This is great.
Yeah, I mean, it was guess if you had skin in the game, it was good. But I mean, watching them letting Ruben Diaz hit it was
over and over. Good game plan.
Give it to the guy who can't shoot is pretty. I mean, Ruben Diaz must have been bullet after that game.
Oh yeah. Oh, a combo of bullying and I would say hugely embarrassed. Not one of them was even close.
But like, you're kind of like, do I blame people for passing me the ball? Am I mad at Arsenal for trying to expose me and also being right about it? You know, but then you're also like, guys, we gotta fucking get some triangles going here. But you can't say why. You can't say because I'm shy. But like, I watched him skide over the bar, and then almost the exact same thing, like very similar thing happening again. I genuinely thought my stream had like skipped backwards. I was like, that exactly just happened. That definitely just happened. And obviously, and the face he made was like, fuck, you know, all right, let's get back, you know. Like,
there was a point where Gary Neville said that because again, it was just give Diaz the ball, give him space to shoot was literally the game plan, to the point where Gary Neville was like trying to think of something to say. He said, Arsenal are running the risk of a deflection here. no threat of a goal coming from Diaz. Like, this might bounce off someone's arse, lads. Careful.
If they're not careful, he might slip and actually kick the ball on target.
It was very funny watching him like contemplate it every time. Like, again.
Just thinking company 2019. That's what he kept thinking.
And a word as well, you mentioned that Arsenal scoring from their defensive set piece.
Yeah.
Probably one of the funniest goals I've ever seen in my life, of Walker pinching Gabriel and Hassel and pinching and poking and prodding at him.
Yeah.
And the whistle blows. Gabriel just jukes him. Walker is gone, and it's a free header.
And he basically dunks like he's under the bar.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's the ball is like an unstoppable ball. Like really, there's nothing that any defender could, like someone that size coming at that pace. Like unless the goalie had got to prematurely, but it was an unbelievable ball in. There's really nothing that Walker could have done, but Walker was being really smart, like because it was right in front of the referee. Right in front of the referee. It's like, this is enough contact to annoy someone, but it's not enough for he's gone. And then he's in
Where the hell did he go?
Walker's doing it way too much, poking, trying to not get done for free, and then he just glided past like, oh man, he's like a deer. Look at that guy. And then you know.
I saw a very funny tweet from the football YouTuber Chris MD. He was talking about how, like, you know, the Arsenal set piece coach spends 3 years working out the perfect angles and runs and, you know, get Gabriel a free header. And it's like, you know, down to the last detail, you know, do it over and over and over again. And then the goal goes in and Roy Keane goes, he just wanted it more. Yeah.
Real old school stuff. Yeah, that set piece coach is like famous now. I keep hearing his name. I forget his name, but I keep hearing his name all the time.
He came from City.
Did he?
Yeah. So Walker should have known better.
Yeah, but he just wanted more. It definitely wasn't because he's whatever 6'4", and like the ball, I keep thinking that ball like it was right in the goal. Like, there's nothing really anybody could have done, but he just wanted more than Walker. He did. That's a fact.
Walker had a very funny day as well, because I think it was the first goal where the referee called him over and then quickly blew the whistle and he was out of position.
Yeah. He did get back and then he got run around. That's the only thing.
Exactly. Which is even worse.
Yeah, I mean, he's very good at getting back. But the goal, the Calafiori goal, I mean...
Oh, unbelievable, yeah.
Was it, Will? Well, how about this? Was it unbelievable? It's unbelievable if he says it was a shot, because I don't believe that.
Oh, you thought it was a cross-cum shot, the classic.
100%. The way his body, he was like trying to, you don't curl that away from the goal into the top corner. You know, like he was trying to put that on someone's head and he just completely overshot it and it went right in the top corner. Not a chance he meant to score that.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you'd have to be insane to take that shot on, especially in like this era of the Premier League, where like the percentages and XG that's definitely drilled into his head.
Well, especially when you have a world famous set piece coach and like 6 enormous men lining up. Like, I'm going to stick a top corner as I am Italy's best left back. I'm well with my rights to do that. You know, like there was no way he was thinking that.
No, yeah. Again, as well, like the thought of during a game against Man City, like, maybe I'll take a shot. Worst case is they have possession.
Yeah. Worst case is they get the ball. Oh yeah, that is pretty bad actually. No, it was a great first half. And then we mentioned there Trossard getting sent off. I mean, initially it looked like, it's for the absolutely horrendous effort at a tackle where he doesn't get near the ball.
Barge into the back, yeah.
And then it later came out that it was for the kicking of the ball away. Again, the very obvious, like, I've just barreled into him. Everyone stopped and looked at me like, what are you doing, man? And then you pretend to keep running and you kick the ball up in there and go, oh, we're not still playing? I thought we were. I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, you did.
I think it was Mika Richards who said, a good point. He said, I've never seen Trossard kick a ball like that before. So, like, obviously this wasn't a case of like, I didn't hear the whistle. It's like, what was your plan then? You're just hoofing it into the sky.
Yeah. Sometimes you can tell. You can just tell by the look on their face. You can tell.
Yeah.
Another famous Arsenal one before. Do you remember Van Persie got sent off for this? When the ball got in to him, he was offside, the whistle went, and he went, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to practice a shot. And he just kicked in the goal. And they're like, nah, fuck you, actually. You're getting your car for that.
Annoying. And I have to get the ball now.
and he was, but it was just more like, you knew well, but you're like, I'm going to have a shot. They always do it in the NBA. You know, when the buzzer goes, they take a shot. And then somebody try and block the shots. They don't get the confidence up. Even though the buzzer's gone, like for a second.
Yeah.
It was one of them for Van Persie. He was like, I'm going to take this opportunity to practice a shot here. Yeah. And the ref went, nah, that's bollocks. You know, like, not even that it wastes that much time or affects getting that much, but I don't like it. You're getting yellow. And he did What? I didn't hear the people in the crowd. I can't hear
I never hear the whistle. I've never heard the whistle once.
I didn't know you had a whistle. I didn't even see it. I never heard the whole game. He was doing that whole pleading innocence. Everyone's like, nah, like you just knew that was the case of he knew well, but he didn't think anything would happen. And then when it did, he's like, well, I genuinely, man. I was like, shut up.
There was that amazing picture going around after the red card of, I think it's 4 Arsenal players crowding the referee, all doing the hands together, begging, please.
Yeah. Well, at that point in the game, you're 2-up, and then someone gets sent off. It's like, well,
again for kicking a ball. Well, again, this happened 2 weeks ago, and it was a disaster.
Yeah. If only they could play Tottenham every week, then they'd be fine. But unfortunately, this week it was City, and the second half was just kind of a bit, as we've described, just like letting Diaz kick the ball. 11 men behind the ball. Was it actually 11 men behind the ball?
Yeah,
and it was then fucking Pep who took a leaf out of Mick McCarthy / Martin Neal's book. Stick the big lad up there, stick the defender up front.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch. Again, it's just like they've all abandoned all their principles. This game, for some reason, again, it's Pep versus Arteta. It's essentially Pep versus Pep. And both of them were like, no, actually, fuck it. let's just do whatever.
Yeah, I guess when Arsenal are 11 men behind the ball at that, there's not much you can do besides you
can't do a cutback. There's 10 lads in the box.
Stick every up. I like to think when he put Jack Grealish on, he had something he was going to say to him, and then Jack Grealish looked at him and went, never mind, just get out there, and like
give it a go.
There's nothing I can say that's going to help you here. Just go out there and maybe take a corner quickly. Like that was just Grealish magic right there. That was just Jack being Jack, He
still got it.
He still got it. And like that was the thing, when you defend like that for that long, there's going to come a moment where your concentration lapse. Arsenal didn't get out fast enough to the corner, and he kind of ran at the sideline, cut it back, scramble. I think Kiroor kind of collided with Raya, and then they're both like fucking breakdance on the ground. And it was just, it was like actually a worse version of the Aguero goal that he scored, that famous one where just like it spilled to him and he lashed it and it went in, and it was just cue wild celebrations,
It was interesting as well because the last game, I think it was Ruben Diaz was saying, "Oh, Arsenal were celebrating, as if they've won the league at the end of the game." It's like, oh, how the tables have turned.
That is actually another thing. Rodri, he obviously a tough game, hard-hitting game, a brutal game, and he went to kind of go jump into party or kind of shoulder party, and then his knee went from under him as he was going for the shoulder. And I guess it was like the modern day equivalent of when Roy Keane did his ACL by trying to dive, because Party looked at him, like, was just standing over him like, come on now, of all the things we've done this game, that was not a
now I know he's really hurt, but that you can't be giving out to me about that.
That was not me this time. That was not me. A week or two after he was mooting, Will.
Yeah.
A possible, careful now. Careful. Talking about strike, talking about collective action himself, and
sudden his knee explodes.
Wow.
Interesting timing,
yeah. No, I won't say any more without my tinfoil hat on. Cover your screens, folks. If you listen to this on a cover your cameras. Cover your cameras if you listen to this on a device.
Yeah, he's out for the season now. Hey, don't have to worry about any extra games now, buddy. I'm sure the FIFA and UEFA are saying. Also, don't have to do any more press conferences now that you're at home, do you?
Yeah, there goes your publicity, you disruptor. Yeah, I kind of missed this a little bit, but there was kind of serious talk about strike action.
Well, for probably good reason, because I know what I saw today that I couldn't believe. Do you know Man City are playing tomorrow?
What?
Yeah, they're playing the Champions League tomorrow. After literally that grueling 45 minutes of trying to break down Arsenal. They're back at it tomorrow at probably 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Damn, 2 weeks Champions League in a row. That's pretty sweet though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And maybe it's Carabao Cup actually.
Oh yeah, which is also now going to be at the same time as Champions League. I couldn't believe that last week. What was that about?
It's chaos. Like literally, because we were saying like, oh, games on Thursday, that's mad. When I saw the games actually happen on Thursday, I physically couldn't. I was like, I've seen too much football this week.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
there does get a point where you like, you watch a movie like for Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Like I don't want to watch the movie. I don't want to. I just want to maybe fucking go outside or just like go for a stroll, maybe something. I don't know. Read a book, maybe. I don't know. Something different. I need something different for my eyes. I can't take in another epic story, which these Champions Leagues tend to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there was a bit of talk about some potential strike action, or maybe that was the first hint of it. But I don't know. I don't see it happening because again, there's too many players. Like, is that union going to get together? How are you going to get them all in the same room?
Yeah. I think it all relies on the big players, though. Like if all the other players got, involved, and then like Real Madrid, Bayern, City, and PSG said, actually, our players aren't doing it. Falls on ours, you know what I mean? It dies on ours, I should say. Because it's just like, well, that's who people want to see. No one wants to see players from Everton or wherever, even though they're playing loads of games as well and they have every right to strike. You need the big, you need the Rodris, like players who won the Euros, like the best players in the world, the most famous players in the world right now. That's who you need, but you need everybody. It needs to be a collective thing. I mean, the NBA did it fairly successfully over the years at different times.
Yeah, the last NBA one, I think, was the Black Lives Matter one. Do you remember that? But that was, I think, when they were all living in the bubble during COVID. So the players were probably all together and chatting to each other. It was a lot easier to organize it then, if it was then. I think it was, though.
That was kind of like a walkout, though, wasn't it? Rather than like an actual strike.
I'm pretty sure. But like, I don't know. I just think, like, what does, say, Tottenham or Man United, what contact do they have with, like, Dinamo Zagreb? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way these player unions can all work together to stop evil UEFA. It's just it's too scattered.
Yeah, maybe there's too many teams, too many players. I think it can be done. Like I say, the NBA is a bit more kind of a closed group, and like there's no relegation. So like you are kind of we're all in this together. We're all playing in the league. They all call it the league. But yeah, I think the lockout season. The last one was 2012, I think, where they literally said we're not playing until our demands are reached, and it was like a shortened season.
Yeah,
like that would like if you came back 1 August and was like, nope, no Premier League, no La Liga, no,
it would be fixed in a week. As soon as Sky Sports don't have a game, it's fixed.
Yeah, well, it always comes back to money. Do you know what I mean? It always comes back to money. But I don't think this is about money. That's the thing. I think there's players who are getting played plenty, and that's, I think, what if you were an evil corporation like FIFA? That's how you'd spin it. You'd be like, well, maybe we paid them too much. Maybe they're spoiled. Maybe they're exactly. Maybe they should try working a real job once.
It's very easy to turn this back on them if they do try go on strike. Do you know what I mean? All it takes is one interview to be like, oh, they don't even want you to watch the games on the weekend. Don't you like going to the football, watching the football with your friends? They're taking that away from you. De Bruyne and co.
Look, that's their point of view, which I respect them. It's a free country to say what you want. No, they'll spin it because there's obviously a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm not sure where the union thing is, or where the collective action is. I don't know if, like, say, it will be easy to get organized. I think if they were to do it, maybe this summer, because there's no international tournaments, is there? I mean, there's Nations League, but
there is the Club World Cup, Cathal, which runs up until 3 weeks before the start of the next season. So
they've got 3
Rodri
weeks.
Will have 3 weeks. Yeah, I saw that today.
Wow. Well, they'll have preseason a week before that. So
start their preseason then. Play every week, 3 times a week. I think it is now, all the way up to the summer. And then it is the World Cup. Is that right? After that? 2026?
Yeah, Jesus, man. 2026 already. Yeah. Fucking hell.
I don't know if that clashes with the Club World Cup. Not sure how that works.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get it now. It feels like when it's
year long. There's football 3 times a week all year. It's too much. When it becomes too much to watch, imagine fucking playing it.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, there is a point of diminishing returns, surely. If there's Carabao Cup games on. Like, okay, you're a Man United fan, Will. You like Man United. You like watching them play. You wouldn't mind watching Barnsley this week. Man United versus Barnsley this week. And say watching Champions League last week. but you were forced to make a choice, you know? We're like,
Exactly, yes.
and like, okay, there's people who only watch Man United, I get that. But there's like kind of casual fans like, yeah, I wouldn't mind watching what Barcelona are going to do. I wouldn't mind watching Lamine Yamal, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But also, I would like to see, you know, how Rashford gets on, because that's...
Exactly.
So like, if you're being forced to like choose between them, that is probably too much at some point, you know?
Yes.
You're losing money that way.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just, I don't know, it's too much. It's madness. And Rodri seems like the first victim of it already, like 2 weeks into the season, 3 weeks into the season. There's going to be many more than just Rodri. I don't know if you saw Ter Stegen is out for the season as well. He ruptured something in his knee, his leg. So
yeah,
like there's two huge names in world football gone for the next 6 months. And then they'll be back right into the Club World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Rodri will be mad at the system, at FIFA and all that, or will he blame Arsenal for this? Because it feels like this City team really doesn't like this Arsenal team.
Well, I mean, they definitely don't, because we were said this before Haaland came. This guy is a big personality.
Yes.
He'll do a lot for the club. This was him at his best. Scored an early goal in a big game, and in the last 5 minutes is some of the most incredible football you ever see. Number one, he is getting he's in a bit of a tussle, and Arsenal Academy player, I can't remember his name, 17-year-old,
yes,
loudly gets told, "Who the fuck are you?" on TV by Haaland. That's one. Two, the goal goes in, he picks up the ball, lumps it at the back of Gabriel's head, which is just incredible. To have the foresight to do that in such a big moment is very funny. Whistle blows for kickoff. He barrels into Partey and knocks him clean on his arse.
Yeah.
Then the game ends and he's arguing with Arteta. He taps Arteta on the back. He says, "Stay humble, pal."
And then Jesus comes over and says, "Hey, come on, let's everybody calm down." He calls him a fucking clown.
Yeah. So what did I say, you fucking clown? Unbelievable. I mean, this guy is a menace.
Yeah. I mean, everyone compares this rivalry to the Liverpool rivalry, where they were some unbelievable games and it was like toe to toe. And as I say, I think Liverpool, maybe you could argue on their day, they had better players than, like they say, the Sterling of the time, Sterling, Jesus, and Zinchenko at the time. They probably upgraded since then, or you could again argue. But the point being that those games were kind of like, these are the two best teams by a mile, and they're playing really good football. And this is what modern day football can look like when it's played by two of the best teams. And as I say, it was in Liverpool's interest to do that because they probably had the better of them, especially in Anfield. They felt like, you know, that you really didn't think City were going to win that game. Whereas Arsenal have taken they decided to let go of the ego. You know, they said we don't want ego in this dressing room. We don't need to, you know, pretend to be something we're not. We're not as good. We're just going to park the bus and kick and be physical and do what everyone has done to Arsenal. And City have decided, that's bollocks. You know,
you're not allowed to do that.
That's cheating. You know, whatever about what we did, that is cheating. That's not right. That's and listen, you've watched people do it when there's a bit of enjoyment, you know, every now and again when you watch Atletico Madrid get through the last 16 doing that to somebody. And it's like, they're some boys, you know, they're some boys. But like, I'd imagine when it happens to your team or when, you know, it happens to you as a player, you're like, fuck that, you know? You've got
yeah, that is bollocks. I mean, Bernardo Silva, it feels like every time they play Arsenal, he does an interview after the game being like, they're not allowed to do that. They can't be kicking the ball away. They can't be kicking me. Like, what the hell? Why are they allowed to do that? It happens. I think this is the fourth time I've seen him give this interview.
Yeah, well, he is the opposite of that. He is like, I don't know if you've seen that clip going around. I think him and Ruben Diaz are doing something for City's social pages or whatever. And Diaz is like, oh, well, this guy, he's never in the gym or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And he says, the gym is for people who can't do football. like, you know, it's a joke. Sure. It's just.
He means it though. Yeah.
It's just guys ribbing each other, you know, but really you look at him and you go, he does believe that because like there's not a pick on him. And he's an unbelievable footballer. Like, again, he doesn't need it. He's so good that he doesn't need to add physicality to his game. He's an unbelievable player. And remember he played left back for City last, left wing back, I think, and was happy to try and kick Saka. You know, even though it's not his game. So it's not even that like he can't do it, but like he doesn't need to. He's so good he doesn't need to. So when he comes up against a team that's just going to kick him and slow on the play, he's thinking, all right, like I expect it from a team like who doesn't have the budget, but Arsenal spent a lot of money to just do this. Like this, you could do this for a lot less price, you know. So I think just he doesn't respect it whatsoever. For Haaland, for Diaz, for Rodri, they all think the same thing. Should we play the John Stones clip?
I think how we fought right until the end is credit to us.
Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're basically saying Arsenal have mastered the dark arts, and it's very frustrating to deal with, right?
I don't know if they've mastered it. They've done it for a few years, and we know to expect that. That's you can call it clever or dirty, whichever way you want to put it. They break up the game and obviously upsets the rhythm for everyone.
I wouldn't say they've mastered it.
Yeah, pretty good at it, maybe.
They've been doing it for the last couple of years. I mean, he doesn't even want to give them that they're good at being bad. You know what I mean? He's like, they're doing it, but looks like
they're no Newcastle.
Yeah. I've seen people do better. I've seen better versions of it. You know, they really just dislike them. And I think it is that kind of, I guess, the idea of like a team spending. I think they're spending a lot of money as well. And like, it doesn't really matter. But I guess from a City's point of view, thinking like, why spend that much money on Declan Rice?
Yeah.
And then just do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, why outbid them for Declan Rice? Wasn't that apparently what happened? Which I don't really believe either. But, you know, if you're a City player, that's your perspective on it. You're like, this is crazy that like they've come with some of the best players in Europe and just try to kick it off the pitch and slow the game down and waste time on corners from the start of the game. So, yeah, I don't think they were ever this annoyed at Liverpool.
No, it felt like all those Liverpool City games were like, again, they're big. Klopp and Pep respected each other, and like, maybe there was some tussles and stuff like that, but I don't remember any nasty scenes. This game, like 5 minutes into, you're like, oh boy, they're going to kick lumps out of each other here, and like everyone was so fired up for it. It was mad, which does make me wonder. We were saying this before the show. What are Pep and Arteta saying to their players about the other manager? Because they never say anything about each other in the press.
Yeah,
we would wonder: is Pep like, I taught him everything he knows, lads. Don't fucking listen. Like, go call them clowns, you know, they're going to try and kick you off the pitch. I would never stoop to that low.
Yeah, I mean, after this game, this is a new version of this rivalry. I've never, like, okay, they've played defensively before, and that last season was the classic, like, you know, you have to try and win the game. That was what Rodri's whole thing was. You got to give us gaps that we can exploit. You know, that's people kind of like, all right, shut up, man. Like, that's stupid. No one does that. But in this game, I think everyone's kind of switched. It's like, okay, well, maybe he has a point here. I mean, look, they didn't have Odegaard, which is a huge loss. Then that's kind of their creative player in the middle, and he has transformed them into probably the title contenders that they are. So
yeah, they
really, really aren't close without Odegaard. But yeah, I think it was the kind of like barrel into players. You know, that wasn't like okay, Havertz did it from the start of the game. That was clearly like an idea he had before the game started. But even Trossard, like, that's not his game either. This was something that they were like going out to do, like get amongst them, see if they like it, you know. And like the City team is a really good team, and they are well able for it, but they really don't like it. You know, again, not that they're not able for it, but they really don't respect this kind of football. Like when Liverpool used to beat them, you know, and there's a few hammers in there, a few 3-0s in that, where they were like just weren't close. You never saw them giving interviews being like, yeah, well, it's bollocks that they have such a small pitch in Anfield, and it's actually bullshit, you know. They were like, hey, you know, we'll get you next day, kind of thing. It was much more of a respect-based thing, I think, where they do not respect what Arsenal doing whatsoever, you know.
I don't know if you saw Kanji's quotes after the game. They're pretty funny. Pretty telling. These are the words, again, it was a draw. It was a good result for City in the end, but these are the words of a rattled man. 100%.
Oh, okay.
And again, this is a Kanji, not a player you'd kind of think would let anything get in his head.
Yeah.
He said, always when we play against Arsenal, this is what they're looking for. The drama. It worked for them. So if they're happy with the 1 point, I don't think there are many better than them at dark arts. In the end, we always win the title, and I think we're going to win it again.
Oh, that is fighting talk. That is fine.
I love that. That's what draws. They love the drama. They're it's always a big deal when we're here.
Yeah, I get what he means, though. To be fair,
yeah,
I do get it.
They drag them down to their level, but it's just so funny that like this is a new thing of like, when were Arsenal ever dragging anybody to their level.
Yeah, I mean, it is innovative. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I say before, like, no, we have the players to go at them. And they do, but like, it's just the kind of identifying, like, all right, but like 9 out of 10, what happens? You know,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. Let's just cut out the middle, man. Let's just kick lumps out of them and then park 10 lads behind the ball.
It's like when, like, say someone, for an example of that, say down the table, say in Everton or whatever, you know, it's like if they drew like a non-league team in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And they beat them 4 or 5-0. They'll still go to Arsenal next week and park the bus. It's like, yeah, well, like we're better than them, but we're not better than these, you know?
Exactly, yeah. It's that thing where like it feels like all the top 6 or whatever. It feels like they're kind of banned from playing this kind of football against each other. Like, so many times over the years, Tottenham have gotten ripped apart by City or United have gotten ripped apart by Liverpool. It's just like, well, we're not allowed to park the bus, so what can we do? People will boo us.
But this is exactly why they don't, for this exact reaction, people are like, this is insane. Like, you know. But they drew at City away. Like, but there was some crazy stat they hadn't conceded for like X number of games at home. City hadn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, I think there is some method to it. And if they had won, yeah, it wouldn't have been like a turning point where Arsenal are finally better than City. It would be like, Arsenal are definitely not better than City, but they won.
got away with one.
Like, which at the end of the day, like that's, and we said that I think at the start of this season as well, that like, how long until they go, wait a minute, how much trophies has Arteta won the last 5 years?
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
He's definitely getting to the point where like, fuck it, let's just park the bus, see what happens, you know? I mean, what, like, end this season, it's over.
Nothing else is working.
Yeah. We got to try something new. We can't just keep going at them, you know? So yeah, look, I mean, I think for Arsenal, it's definitely 2 points lost. I get up in 97 minutes, I would have said good point, but that last lapse of judgment,
it changes everything. Yeah, no, I will say, probably did feel like that for Arsenal until they got the word that they had successfully taken Rodri out for the season. So it's like, hey, that's a pretty good point. And you know, their best player is gone for the next 5 months.
Yeah, I think it was last year they lost Rodri for 3 games and they didn't win any of them.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, Kovacic comes in.
Yeah, Kovacic comes in, and it's a grand replacement. But given Kovacic's patchy injury record in the past, if he was to play every necessary game now between Champions League and League for the end of the season, I'd be shocked. So, yeah, you got him. Foden obviously is like still coming back. However, he'd probably take a bigger role now. I mean, I know he wasn't a big player from the last couple of years, but losing Oscar Bob, I think that was like kind of brushed over, but he looked good for the brief time he was playing. This is how great teams lose it. A series of unfortunate events and season, possibly career-ending injuries. You know, this is how it all goes away. Because, like, if you look at the team objectively, like, well, there's nothing wrong with this team. This team go on for another 10 years, you know? This is what you need. You need De Bruyne to have some kind of falling out. Walker to start losing his aura somehow. You know, like, this is... It doesn't happen because someone comes up and goes, we're actually better than you now. It's like, you know, this is what happens. So, City are still top. There isn't a clear and obvious contender. I mean, I think Arsenal are grand, but they're missing Odegaard and they're maybe not as impressed with the last couple of season. Maybe Liverpool could take advantage here, but
too early to tell with them.
But yeah, I mean, like, as it stands, City are still top of the league, and yeah, okay, they're missing Rodri, which is huge, but there's enough good players there that you couldn't really put it past them. But there's definitely opportunity for other teams in this. Maybe Chelsea, I don't know. Maybe Liverpool.
Knows, yeah. I mean, especially if it does somehow happen where the trial actually ends and they say, right, from next season, City, you're gone. I mean, it's going to be tough to win one last league when you're like, oh, God, we're all gone next year. Like, I think if that does happen, and it's the season where Rodgers out as well, say if they get a point deduction or something mad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now win all those points back without your best player. It's a double whammy.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be tough. If you were to say someone like Kevin De Bruyne, who's been obviously weighing up the Saudi Arabia move as well, you get a 10-point deduction. We'll say for their sake, because they're not going to get relegated to non-league. Let's be honest, you know.
I don't think so. Yeah.
We'll say a 15-point deduction, right? And then you're thinking, all right, well, like, this season is gone now. What am I going to do next season? And then it's like, oh, there's actually more charges coming, and they've charged us, so like, now they've said
Pep is gone.
Pep is going to leave. Definitely, I can tell by the way he's walking around training. He's not in it anymore. This is how it happens. That's how it would fall away. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd say all those charges will be dropped. It is interesting though. It will be very annoying. I did see someone say, a Liverpool fan saying, if Rodri's out for the season and City get charged like 2 months after Klopp leaving, I'm gonna scream. like, where was this a year ago? Where's this 2 years ago? Like, their golden era came and went in the Premier League at the exact time where the other team was having their golden era.
Yeah, it can happen. Whether it was legally right to happen or not, time will tell. But yeah, it doesn't really matter for the time that's gone, unfortunately, because you could award the trophies and that, but it's not the same. It's not the same. But like I say, Liverpool could win this year. They really could. We'll see how it all shakes out for City. But yeah, it was an early victory, I think, for City psychologically. You know, if they'd lost that game and been like fuming that Arsenal have just like shithoused the way to it.
Oh, imagine the post-match conferences if they lost.
Oh, it would have been insane. But then, like, you would have been going to Arsenal, be like, these fuckers, you know. But now you're thinking, these absolute pathetic bastards. You know what I mean? They can't even beat us playing like that. You know, so it does frames it slightly differently for them. So, yeah, I think they'll be happy enough.
Think of what the Arsenal players and Arsenal team are thinking now. The next time they play City, because like their last memories of Haaland is like, I hate that guy. He absolutely humiliated me twice. He called me a clown on TV.
He called me a fucking clown.
It's gonna be tough to focus up for the next game after that.
Well, I don't know where you take it from here if you're Arsenal. I don't know how. Like, do you go more physical? Like, I think there was an element of catching City on the hop here a little bit. That they were a bit like, wow, I can't believe they're actually going this hard at this level of physicality and diving and time wasting. I don't think you can go up from that, you know. And City will be ready for it.
I did see Carragher saying after the game, he's like, I cannot wait for the reverse fixture. He's like, we have a rivalry on our hands. It feels like a long time since this happened.
What do you know when the return leg is even?
Oh, no idea. I'd assume in probably March or something like that.
The last day of the season.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Liverpool are 10 points clear and it doesn't actually matter anymore. Yeah. But there's a beef to settle.
Entire starting 11 have ACL injuries.
1st of February 2025. Can't believe it's 2025. Fucking hell. So yeah, that's a crucial time, Will. As you mentioned, Champions League this week. Maybe we'll cover it.
Yeah, apologies, Ultras. We had a hell of a week last week between the two of us.
Yeah, just not enough time in the day. Apologies.
And like, imagine trying to do a Patreon episode last week after having watched none of the 1,000 Champions League games.
All I knew about last week was that an Irish person scored for the first time in 12 years.
Yeah, seen that, yeah.
Liam Scales and Adamida. Edamania back on again.
Recommenced.
Do you know who the last Irish player to score in the Champions League was, Will?
Roy Keane, maybe?
No, 12 years ago.
12 years ago?
An Irish player in the Champions League.
Robbie Keane?
Tottenham, Will, come on.
Oh, yeah. O'Shea, maybe.
Oh, warmer. You're getting warmer.
Oh.
Right club.
Right club. An Irishman. That's not Keane. Who the hell? Who?
Darren Gibson.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how far.
Sunderland Till I Die fame. Unbelievable.
Darren fucking Gibson before that. But listen, that's in the past, Will. Now the last player to score was Adamida.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll have twice the career Darren Gibson had.
Oh, I'm sure it'll probably be twice the length between the next time Irish person scores. Like, imagine in like 22 years, be like, do you know what the last player was? Adam Ida. And like, what?
Who?
Adam Ida? He played for Celtic? What?
Liam Scales? His name's ringing any bells?
So, who are these players, you know?
Was this before or after the national team was disbanded?
Was this before Nuclear Winter or after?
Yeah. I do see that every few days that Chelsea have given a new player a contract to 2039. I always pops in bed. I think we mentioned weeks ago. It's like, good luck, lads. That's not happening. 2039.
So we'll be covering whatever Irish player scores in Champions League this week. On Ultras only. Link in the description of this episode. Join the movement. Other than that, Will, I think that's about it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you if you're an Ultra later on during the week. There's what games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday again.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so on and so forth.
It never bloody stops, and it's not enough games. We need more games. This is why we're striking,
another
folks.
Tournament, yeah.
There's a common misconception that players are striking for less games. They actually want more because I think, what about Friday? We have Friday off. We're bored out of
Is
our
there
minds.
a podcast union? Can we go on strike?
We want more games too, Will. We want more listeners, more games, more ACLs, more stuff to talk about. More. So yeah, we'll be back covering more football during the week on another episode of a Nonsense Podcast.
Yet another.
We'll see the Ultras there. Everyone else will see it next Monday. But hey, Ultras open to everybody. You know,
exactly.
So
that could be you. It could be you.
It could be. Is that the lotto? It could be you, folks.
It could literally be you. You could just sign up. It's not like a raffle.
Sign up. It could be you. You can pay the money, log on, and maybe there'll be an episode there. It could be you.
The lottery. Will there be an episode?
Yes. It's good, actually. Now it works. We got it in the end. Okay. Best luck.
Good luck.